everyone who stayed has died. They cut lines into the mountain. I don't see them. I see the chalky cliff right there, but I'm still unsure if I'm the narrator or if I'm who he's talking about. There it is. It's like a graveyard. Except for these ones, they're just sitting up here.
We are not like Lot's wife, you and I. We feel no particular need to turn back. There's nothing to be seen if we did. No tired old man parting the cliffs with his arms. No gifts or Bibles laid out on the sand for the taking. No tides turning or the shrieking gulls overhead. The bones of the hermit are no longer laid out for the taking. I have stolen them away to the guts of this island, where the passages all run to black, and where we can light each other's faces by their strange luminescence.
This game's like hypnotizing. I don't even know what to say. It's like there's a shipwreck over there. Across from the lighthouse. And we're just getting further and further away from that light. Looks like there's a cave over there too.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
So who is Esther?
I find myself increasingly unable to find that point where the hermit ends and Paul and I begin. We are woven into a sodden blanket, stuffed into the bottom of a boat to stop the leak and hold back the ocean. My neck aches from staring up at the aerial. It mirrors the dull throb in my gut where I am sure I've begun to form another stone. In my dreams, it forms into a perfect representation of Lot's wife, head over her shoulder, staring along the motorway at the approaching traffic in a vacuum of fatalistic calm.
What is all this? Is this that same paint that was in the shed? It's like a tree. It is that paint. Some clothes. And fish. And bread. The fact that they haven't completely rotted means someone had to have been here not that long ago. This narrator just is confusing me more and more. And I swear I heard a radio coming into this cave. Oh well, let's keep exploring. I really don't need this flashlight. Wish I knew how to turn it off. Some more of these drawings. More and more paint. Is it like a molecular structure? Some kind of chemistry. It's a dead end. So we'll head back out. This trail. I don't think there's anywhere else we can go around that side. I don't think we can get to that shipwreck. There's got to be a reason why I'm here.
The vegetation here has fossilized from the roots up. To think they once grazed animals here, the remnants of occupation being evidence to that. It is all sick to death. The water is too polluted for the fish, the sky is too thin for the birds, and the soil is cut with the bones of hermits and shepherds. I've heard it said that human ashes make great fertilizer, that we could sow a forest from all that is left of your hips and ribcage, with enough left over to thicken the air and repopulate the bay.
What is this? These weeds and flowers. There's no trees. I've seen birds though, and fish. So maybe this place is starting to grow again since everyone died. Chemistry. So that is what these markings are. But why? And who put them there? Human ashes make great fertilizer. That's weird. Now I think about it, how did I even get to this island? Well, if we go down here, I don't think there's any turning back.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Running to Esther again. What's that? Oh, it's more ships. Let's see, we can go left. Go down to the ships. We should investigate down here first. Not sure where that light has gone to. I think it's over there. I don't even know if we'll be able to make it there anymore. I know that's where I want to get to. Cargo ships. Oh wait, it's just one big ship. It's a pretty bad wreck. What were they shipping? Is there anyone on board? Another ship. There's a light flashing out there.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
There's the light. Who's on the side of that? Looks like that same paint. Guess we'll head around this other cliff.
I had kidney stones, and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred.
What's this?
Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
So did Esther die in a car crash? There's two buildings.
I've begun my ascent on the green slope of the western side. I've looked deep into the mountain from the shaft and understood that I must go up and then find the way under. I will stash the last vestiges of my civilization in the stone walls and work deeper from there. I'm drawn by the aerial and the cliff edge. There is some form of rebirth waiting for me there.
So I must be the narrator. I must go up and then within. Those syringes? Some sort of rebirth. On the cliff sides.
the bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
Poor Jakobsen. First of the shepherds, and everyone thought he was a fool. Not a breeding man. And he died alone. I've seen that symbol before, down in the caves.
Inventory. A trestle table we spread wallpaper on in our first home. A folding chair. I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable later and you laughed then. This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes. Donnelly's book, stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here. I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
This is Donnelly's book. Meridian history. There's ultrasound pictures. It wasn't Esther, was it? Must have been. Everything's still here. Why would everything still be here? It's like everyone just got up and left. So Donnelly and Jakobsen both died here alone.
In a footnote, the editor comments that at this point Donnelly was going insane as syphilis tore through his system like a drunk driver. He's not to be trusted. Many of his claims are unsubstantiated, and although he does paint a colourful picture, much of what he says may have been derived directly from his fever. But I've been here, and I know, as Donnelly did, that this place is always half imagined. Even the rocks and caves will shimmer and blur with the right eyes.
So Donnelly had gone mad from his sickness.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. His fingernails were raw and bitten to the quick. They found the phosphorescent moss that grows in the caves deep under the nails. Whatever he'd been doing under the island when his strength began to fail is lost. He'd struggled halfway up the cliff again, perhaps in a delirium, perhaps trying to reach the bothy's fire, before curling into a stone and expiring.
It's horrible. I didn't find them for 7 months. Sure, none of them even cared. The narrator keeps making references to car crashes, and the syphilis attacked him like a drunk driver.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Final ascent. So he's taking drugs to get through the pain of his broken leg. Wait. Candle? Okay, there's gotta be someone in here. There's a lit candle. What's this? It's probably a very bad idea, but I don't know where else to go.